Yeah, I think our session was really fruitful and diverse, like Jenny said, um, from how to connect with nature during our lockdowns. That's looming again, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, and to our, how just our general connection with nature, but also even our financial systems and the way we vote. Um, yeah, for me, it was really wonderful to be with others who shared their perspectives and their experiences to broaden our perspectives in that way and not to get stuck to our own ideas. And that's the value of coming to a cafe like this and to have such diverse discussions and still honoring each individual and being truly present to whatever they are sharing. So thank you, Jenny, and the other two gentlemen, and thank you, Ben, for hosting this and creating this space for us to do this.
Yeah, so it was you and Jenny and Bansi, who I guess is
And Thomas.
and oh, and Tumas, right, right. I was,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. Was there something in particular, some little nugget that you learned or an insight that came out of the conversation for you?
For me personally, the nugget is be present to what others are sharing. Because there's gold in that. That is the nugget. And really hear and perceive and sit with it.
Thank you. Yeah, Jenny, do you want to add something?
Yeah, it was very wide-ranging, very stimulatingly. Yeah, starting from some of the challenges we see around, you know, having something that is called democracy but isn't, and what sort of process of finding people we could trust for particular positions of leadership, not accumulated power. And I really like something that Thomas said about, is this somebody that you would trust your child to? And actually looking for eldership of actually any age, which is something that, you know, most human societies that aren't our society would do. And that different relationship with the land, you know, again, many cultures would rightly find it really strange that we have this notion of owning the land.
Mm-hmm.
The land is much bigger than us, and it makes an unhealthy exploitation through this sort of dominance of money, which used to be a very just a useful method of organizing a particular quite small aspect of our lives, and has become, you know, the dominant beyond humanity. And we see some of that in the way people are, or, you know, politics is responding to COVID, and how do we move back to what is a different way of living, and has the way that we've been living during COVID times, you know, helped us move in that direction, and reflecting that, you know, we're not separate from nature, we are within nature, and nature has many lessons for us, including the speed with which things can change. I mentioned the dragonfly, but there's also the long histories of trees and how we seem like flitting in and out of life to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know, how can we, through feeling that energetic connection that Han has talked about, um, with other living things, actually bring that into solving our human issues. We don't have to solve it all as humans alone. We have, you know, all those connections that we have with the non-human world as well to draw on as part of finding the health and health giving and healing intervention that we as humans can make to the state that, you know, our living world is in at the moment.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting, you know, because so Ambrose and I were in a separate conversation, obviously, that had a very different initial framing. You all went off to talk about, you know, being in lockdown and COVID and how to stay connected to nature, and mindfulness was part of the sort of the the seed for that conversation. Ambrose and I, were talking about his desire to be part of the Now What Collective, and then we moved from there into talking about the work that he's doing or wants to do in Uganda, and which involves trees and involves community building. and my contribution to the conversation also was to talk about trust, and how, particularly when we're talking about moving money across the globe, or within a bioregion out into ways that really nourish lots and lots of different kinds of regenerative activities, like a whole ecosystem of activities, that we need a level of trust and a way of dealing with trust that's not sort of the normal business as usual approach, where we have contracts and we read 3-inch high business plans and we do all this due diligence. That if we operate that way, it's not flexible and agile and fast enough to deal with the challenges we face. And that in the same way that the clouds that rain on a forest don't decide where the water goes, the sources of money need to trust that there's this infrastructure, these networks, this intricate net of relationships that can distribute that money far more effectively than if they decided from the top where it all needed to go. And that's a way, that's part of our experiment here in a little way in Now What, and also an inquiry we're going to be engaging in over the course of Now What with some different network leaders that are looking at how to use networks in that way. So that was our conversation, and it totally interwove, also because Ambrose's project involves trees. Maybe you want to say a little bit about that. And Ambrose is now a member of the Now What Collective fully. This was the last little piece to have our invitation conversation. So I'm excited to welcome you along with Han. And now I think there's about 16 of us, 15, 16 of us so far. So thank you for saying yes. Yeah, Ambrose, do you want to offer a few reflections?
Excuse me. Maybe just to, if I would like to really share something that we've already been sharing is with the ladies who just joined, that, well, it's just like we've been discussing with Ben. I mean, it's Jenny actually mentioned something about mindfulness and how to coexist with the environment, and how we can actually let nature, we can coexist actually with nature, even if we've not dealt with that's practically the non-humans. And I feel that's really a very significant idea that she has really brought in. But still, back to our main thing, a project area around basically the tree planting and everything around it. I feel that's really quite transformative. Well, given the nature of where I actually come from. If you could probably get some time and try to Google Kalaki. Like recently, we've just had a huge flood, and quite a number of people got displaced from the community. Well, that's been more of a how nature sometimes can really become a bit more tough. So we had several people leave where they were staying and then move to. You could actually check, think Kalaki district. They recently had some downpour. The water levels kind of, rose up, and some people, and I think that has been quite common in Uganda. There's a lot that has actually been happening. The water levels across Lake Victoria, Lake Choga, and the surrounding communities actually affected the people. Well, that's why really the tree planting bit comes in, and I feel, where this can actually help out. And if you're trying to push that agenda, you're trying to look into nature, you're looking into tree planting and everything that really resides around it. I feel this is really very critical. It may not really be at the financial aspect of it, but even in our, existence, if we consider nature to be a part of it, and we try to improve it, and we see how best we can model it, I really feel that's very significant for our existence. So we can't really leave that out. It's usually part of us. We can't really put it out and say, well, we can exist without it. Otherwise, it can become harsh, and so that's why we consistently need to make sure that we are part of it. Yeah, because our areas are actually different. When you look at probably the US, when you go to the UK and Africa, the environment and where people here, you'd find most people probably there are people living in the rural areas, and you'd find that what they actually do is quite different. Others would be rushing to their towns. Yeah, so there is a lot to really learn, mainly around nature. People can coexist with it. And I feel the fact that I'm actually trying to push this agenda of tree planting and everything that resides around it, yeah, it's really, really very key for us to continue actually living. Yeah, so that's really it. Yeah, but it's a great place. I think next time I'd probably send some biography to you. I know sometimes in the future someone may, save some few dollars. You basically come spend a week, get to see the area, visit. Then yeah, I mean, it's good to always move around. It's a great place. It's calm. They're not really people are friendly. I wouldn't really say there was really happening. So you are safe here, probably after maybe the COVID. Yeah. So you'd basically find some time, and if someone could really take in some time and travel, get to see the all different world out here. Yeah. Then yeah. Yeah. Sure. That's it.
That's
Thank
a
you,
lovely
Ambrose.
thought that we will come through this and be able to connect in person at some point in the future. It's a good vision to have to get us through this difficult bit.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Han and Jenny.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you, Ambrose, Jenny. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
all.
Bye.